Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am here to talk about my reading slump a little bit more. As you guys know, if you have been keeping up with my videos, I have been in a reading slump basically since September. In September, I read Manacled and it just wiped me out. I even kind of had the expectation at one point that maybe I could read Manacled and then read Alchemized directly after. There was no way. With each story being over 1,000 pages, I couldn't make it happen. I tried to go into some other fantasy books after Manacled and I was really interested in them. I rated them very highly, but I had a hard time making myself read. And then after reading those, I just couldn't read. I tried to read a novella, couldn't make it through. I tried reading on my Kindle, couldn't make it through. I think I have at this point DNF'd like 3 books. I even mentioned in my most recent videos that I was reading, I think it was called Fall I Want, and it was just a seasonal rom-com-y romance book. I DNF'd it. I do feel like I DNF'd it for a pretty good reason, if I'm being honest, because that book gave me major ick vibes when it came to the main male character. He made some really odd comments about consent, and he also made some really strange comments, just like he was rude to a waitress, and he like wanted to give our female main character, who he barely knows, a credit card in her name and access to all of his finances when he's literally a billionaire and like his father is a billionaire. And it was just strange in my opinion and didn't make a ton of sense. I gave up on it and honestly haven't thought about it since. But then my friend Melody recommended to me, because I was telling her and telling some of my friends more about the fact that I'm in this reading slump, and that when I was finally reading Fall I Want, I ended up having to like DNF that because I just couldn't do it anymore. So my friend Melody recommended to me Cowboy Casual. So this is a romance book. It actually just came out, which I didn't know that at the time of starting it. First of all, I need to get this book. The actual book is gorgeous. It's pink and adorable. It's a romance book. The romance is so good. We have a second chance, and I've mentioned in the past that I love a second chance romance story. I will also say, because I am someone who doesn't like to read a lot of spice, this book is relatively spicy. I think, let's see how far I am. I'm almost done, actually. And I finished this, I think, in less than a week. So I'm doing really well with this book. I'm at 92%, but it had somewhere between like, I think the late 60% mark, and now I think there's been 5 or 6 spice scenes, and that's kind of a lot to pack into such a short amount of the book. The book is, I think, somewhere right around 400 pages, and I am on page 399. Okay, so there's more than 400 pages. There's just over 400 pages, I think. I think I've got another like 20-ish pages to go. But yeah, that's a lot of spice to kind of put into a mere like 20% of the book, especially because several of the scenes are long. So if you want to skim them or skip them, they are a lot to be skimming and skipping. And if you're going to read them, you are going to be reading them for a while. And if you're someone that doesn't bother, like, okay, cool, good for you. But I just typically don't read a lot of spice. So when I was getting into that part, I was kind of like, whoa, there's a lot happening here. But overall, again, I love a second chance romance story. It's small town. He is in charge of a ranch that is owned by his family. She comes back to the small town after something happens and is living with her grandmother, who has a strawberry farm. The guy who lives on the ranch or works on the ranch is right next door, and he's her high school boyfriend, high school friend, and it's got all the small town vibes, which I love and hate as someone who grew up in a small town. But I've got that love-hate connection to it. I love it, and I also just like, ugh, couldn't be me. But like I said, I have been devouring this. I don't have much left. My Kindle is saying I have somewhere around 45 minutes left of reading, so I am going to try to knock that out tonight. It's only 8:15 right now. My Kindle's also giving me a notification that my battery's getting low, so hopefully I can finish the book before my Kindle dies, charge it tonight, and then we can go into another book tomorrow or start a new book sometime tomorrow. because I'm actually having the desire to read now. So I think I can go into something else. I also have officially decided that I'm just not going to make it through my fall TBR at this point. I still want to read all of those books, and a lot of them I have been able to get from my local library on audiobook. So as I'm coming out of this reading slump, I think that it's going to be a lot easier for me to listen to those rather than try to read them physically. That way I'm not forcing myself to sit down and do something like that. And maybe I can do another little hobby that doesn't involve, you know, actually reading. I've been trying to make a blanket, so maybe I can make a blanket, or I can do some other little crafty things or baking, or we'll see what I can get into. Anyways, that was a really long intro. So sorry. I hope you guys are still here. But this video is coming out just before Thanksgiving, or right around Thanksgiving, so I just wanted to go ahead and mention before we get into the video how thankful I am for all of you. This is the first year that I've been doing my YouTube channel, and I've been posting content for the last couple of years on TikTok and on Instagram, but YouTube is something that I have wanted to do for, no joke, like 13 years, and this is the year that I finally decided to do it. And I feel like it's going really well. I'm really happy with the way that it's going. I'm really thankful for the views and the subscribers that I have gotten in this last, it's probably right around 11 months at the time I'm recording this. And I'm just very thankful for you guys. Let's go ahead and get into the video. This is gonna be a reading vlog of me, cross my fingers, hoping to get out of my reading slump. Book 2. I decided to go into a Frida McFadden book, and that is because I always have a really easy time getting through her stories. The plot lines and the mystery element always just has me wanting to keep reading, and her writing is just so easy. It's not complicated. So this is her new release. It's called The Intruder. I didn't even really know this was coming out, but when I saw it pop up on Kindle Unlimited, I was like, yeah, that one should work. So far, kind of what I know is we have our main character who is in a cabin, and she's here because something happened with her job as a teacher, so she lost her job, and then there is a big storm coming, or I think it might be a hurricane that's coming, and she feels unsafe in the cabin because there's some problems happening with the cabin, and she ends up coming across a young girl who she lets into the cabin during the storm, but the girl is really shaken up, covered in blood, and has a knife. So we are going to find out what is happening, and I'm just gonna keep reading. I'll give you guys an update once I get a little further into the book. I think I'm only at like 5% right now. Yeah, I'm on chapter 3, 5%. so last night I did finish reading The Intruder. I actually really enjoyed it. I kind of saw some of the plot twist parts coming, but others I did not. So I was a little like, what? At the end. It was good. I think I'm going to give it like 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but I think that I gave Cowboy Casual a 4.5 stars. So that one was really enjoyable as well. Today, that day that I'm recording this, is actually the day that Brimstone by Callie Hart comes out, so I actually just went and picked that up. It's absolutely gorgeous. I posted a TikTok about it if you want to see me talking about the book. So I'm really excited to eventually get around to reading that. But today I decided to read a book on my Kindle that I got from my library that I also have in my physical TBR. So that's Tangled Up in You. I actually just got this recently at my little bookish brunch that I do with some of my friends, and it's a Rapunzel retelling. Rapunzel and Tangled is my favorite of like the Disney princess movies, so I'm really excited to get into this. I think it's really cute. Her cat's name is Pascal, which is adorable, and I don't think it's been mentioned yet in what I've read, because I did start it this morning. I don't know if it's been mentioned that she has long hair, but I'm kind of gathering that she must have long hair based off this picture. I guess we'll see, but she's going to Corona College, which Corona is the name of the kingdom in Tangled. So we're gonna go ahead and keep reading this, and I will keep you guys updated on how I'm feeling about it. Okay, so I am 15% of the way into the book, and it's so interesting. So our main character, I mentioned that she did grow up on a homestead, and she had no access to the internet, no access to the television, has never had a phone, none of that. She's extremely smart because she has read and studied and educated herself, and that has now allowed her to get into college because she was able to pass a lot of entrance exams. But she's 22 and she's coming in as a freshman, but she's also very much overachieving, and I'm pretty sure we have met our male main character. Actually, we have some chapters that are in his point of view, which is great. I love a dual POV, and it just seems like everybody is fascinated by her. I mean, even myself, I am fascinated. So I'm gonna keep reading. I'm gonna go through and let you guys know if we have anything else that comes up that, you know, makes some connections between this and Tangled. There was one little comment that was made by our male main character that is definitely a line said by Flynn Rider in the Tangled movie. So I love that. Lines that are callbacks and references to the books, or to the movie, I mean. I love it. I love it. I'm 90% of the way through this book. Wow, I am having a nice time. Like, I'm enjoying this book, like, a lot. And I had some hesitations and some doubts with it being a retelling of a Disney story, but it is very much Tangled, kind of just told in a modern, everyday setting, and I'm loving it, but also like just wanting to see what's gonna happen next. Okay, so I did end up finishing Tangled Up in You. I'm getting ready to go to a wedding, so that's why I'm all dressed up. But I wanted to talk to you guys first and let you guys know how much I enjoyed this book. I will go ahead and give a little bit of a caveat if I haven't already said this, but Rapunzel is my favorite Disney princess, and the Tangled movie is just so incredibly good. I love the characters, and I love kind of the naivety of Rapunzel. So I loved this book. It was actually so sweet, and as somebody who doesn't really like to read a lot of spice, this book did not have spice, but the relationship was just so cute. But also it kind of took a turn that even though I know the Tangled story, I wasn't expecting it. So I would highly recommend this book. And like I said, I was kind of not sure how it was going to go, but on Goodreads I marked it at 5 stars. I think I'm gonna give it more like 4.5. It's really good. And if you are a Tangled fan, or maybe you just want a sweet little wholesome romance, this is for you. I have not been let down by a Christina Lauren book yet. I have enjoyed every single one that I've read, and I'm so glad not only that I read it and got through the book, but also that I do own this book in a paper copy, because I could see myself wanting to reread that one. And it is part of a series where I don't think they're interconnected, where each book, you know, has characters from the other, but other authors chipped in, and this is with Disney, something else I didn't know, where Disney contacted these authors and asked them to write retellings of Disney princess stories. So I'm wanting to now look into the other ones, where I wasn't really expecting to want to do that when I was first going into this book, but now I loved this one so much that I kind of want to see what the other authors did with it as well. But I think it is safe to say, having read 3 books this last week, that I am officially out of my reading slump. I'm so glad. I did read all of them on my Kindle, and I am a little bit worried that once I try to get off my Kindle that I'm going to go back into my reading slump. But I think for now I'm going to stick with my Kindle, try to knock some more books off my physical TBR, and hopefully get through some really great reads that are coming out soon that I just recently bought, as in the last few weeks. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and coming along with me as I have gone through this long reading slump journey. At this point, I think it's been like 2 months that I've been in a reading slump. So I'm really happy with myself and with how this has gone, that we are finally done with that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.